on YouTube. Well, hey guys, Beat Baux. It is Monday night. I'm so happy to have everybody here. I'm so happy to see Foxy here. Let me just get on up inside of this. Come on, Instagram. I've requested it. You just got to hit accept on your Instagram feed, Foxy.
I'm waiting for it. It's not. There we go. Okay.
Okay, we're getting on one accord here with the little circle spinning. Everybody's excited.
Hey guys, thanks for the likes.
Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the likes. Glad to see everybody here. What's up, Omaya? Hey Matt, how you guys doing? Everybody's here. Okay, so it's Monday night. Another episode of Beat Baux. Your boy Palm, your girl Foxy. Before we got on one accord, making sure we're live on every platform here, we were just kind of discussing how mental health can sometimes be a roadblock in what we do as content creators. And Foxy was just taking a little bit of time to share how she was kind of going through it today early on. And hey Paisley, and Foxy was kind of going through it, and you realize that wow, once you got up, took a shower, and you said, "Hey, you're looking forward to Beat Baux tonight." Tell us about that.
Yeah, so basically, I was my own worst enemy when I woke up this morning. I didn't want anything to do with the day in front of me. There were multiple times where I was just like, oh, I'm going to cancel tonight. But it became apparent to me that I really, really want to do this. And so canceling just wasn't an option. And so I mustered up the strength, took a shower, and gave myself that reset I needed. And Dylan and I were even talking before we went live about the fact that sometimes you just have to do something like that. That self care is so important. We neglect it sometimes. I think that as society progresses, we all become a little bit overstimulated no matter like what our regular mindset is. I think that we become stagnant in our own thought process a lot of times, and it just takes a shower or something to eat to give you that reset. Sometimes it's that simple. Which brings us to our mental health check-in for the week. I think this is a great place to start with it.
Right, and I think you brought up a very valid point that may seem obvious to some people, but it's about nurturing yourself first. That these basic steps of getting our day started, that our shower, our breakfast, our for me it's the morning workout. And for me lately, I don't know why, but I haven't been sleeping lately. I don't know if it's too much sugar before bed, or I've just been really restless with like all that's going on in my personal life. So just to, this morning to go to the gym before I, have a day where I'm basically sitting on my ass for 7 hours is a really critical thing. So I think that morning movement and, just that little wake and bake session to like spark my creativity, number one, and then get the body moving, and then, have that extroverted spirit when I want to reach out to peers. I want to, see what hustle moves I can make, who I can talk to in order to like put me in line to get some money. Those things are very critical for me to start my day,
Mhm.
you know? So,
Yeah,
and about it,
I
yeah,
I'm so
go on.
sorry. So I was gonna say that I think that brings up kind of the point of, when you're a content creator or even a non-content creator, just a consumer of media, specifically social media. I think that a lot of times we forget that we need to have healthy social media tips. And especially when you're reliant on social media for your work, weighing out those two in a way that works that's still conducive to your mental health is really important. And it's that work life balance, no matter how, you can't just completely focus on that hustle too much because then you're going to lose that hustle in the mix of trying to keep it in that momentum.
Right. And also, I wanted to take a stab at just kind of talking about the relationship between person to person communication and then us as content creators being social media personas. Now, you may have, and I'm not saying you personally, but a viewer or somebody, whoever's listening to this, may have a personal relationship with another creator. Okay. And that may be one type of vibe and one type of conversation, but their persona doesn't allow them to really be who they are just to you, right? So
Mhm.
you're kind of, warming up to these waters of saying like, hey, we have this great vibe, just me and that person. But when why are they, flexing for the gram and on Twitter, and like, why am I not, in their photos and getting the retweets with them? And you kind of have to take a step back and just realize that, what, their character that they're portraying on social media is one thing, and then your character, maybe that's the real you, and you want to keep it solid to you. But what I'm trying to say here is that I tweeted out a scenario where I was like this. Uh, if you texted her several hours ago and she doesn't respond, but she immediately watches your Instagram story, what do you do? What does that mean? Before
I think
I give my explanation, Foxy, as a lady, tell me what you
yeah,
think about that.
so I think that a lot of people, I'm going to be really, really authentic right now and talk about self perception. I think that we all do it. We watch our stories. We're like, oh, this person's watching, but like, I want, their attention. And sometimes we take it to heart a little too much. And I think that with social media, it's important to know that there's like a difference between like somebody just having a second flipping through stories. You don't even know if they're actually watching that shit. It could have
Right,
just been, oh, like, I think that there's a certain point that we have gotten in, the future and being on our phones and stuff like that, where we're almost programmed to like
right,
flip through these apps, touch these certain things like that. So I try to put it into perspective of like knowing like, hey, sometimes I'm watching somebody's story, but I'm not actually watching it. Or I am watching it and it's because like I enjoy this person's presence, but I don't have the spoons. And I don't know if you've heard of spoonie theory. I'll explain that in a minute. But I don't have the spoons to give right now. I don't have the energy to partake in like a social interaction. Like I appreciate you. I
yeah,
respect what you're doing. I like it, but right now I need this time to just perceive other people and not be
right.
perceived myself.
And while I don't understand that, I also do understand it, because it's like they for this person, it's work, 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 and I get it. You got to put food on the table. You got to keep those lights on, right? And
Hmm.
even to simply, take the time to say, how was your day, or get back to you about that thing that you asked that might have been kind of important. Hey, she got to go do her, and it's you got to be totally okay with that. I thought about the
Right.
lyrics to Mac DeMarco right there, "Let Her Go."
Yeah.
If you really love her, tell her that you love her. But if when your heart just ain't sure, you gotta let her go. You kind of gotta let baby like have her own little space to kind of go be weird and do her. Because if I were to retaliate and be like, oh, I really don't appreciate you watching my story and not taking me out. Look at this bitch ass nigga, like not
Then
be,
you just look like a weirdo.
yeah. Then I look like this weirdo that I'm, keeping a tally, this running tally of like, oh, when and where she's on her fucking phone. You know what?
Right.
If you need to know your place. If you ain't a priority, oh yeah, for sure, you got to know your place. Like, I'm not asking to be a priority, but like, rather than feel disrespected by not being communicated back to in a prompt manner, I gotta learn that like it's not always about me, and that other people's way of dealing with what's on their plate isn't the way I deal with it. I'm a talker.
Right.
I'm a communicator. She may
Uh-huh.
not be that person, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times that it's just human nature to be kind of narcissistic about things like that and only be thinking about you in that situation and feel to like, a betrayal or like hurt from
Right.
somebody else's inaction, but really we're not,
Because
considering.
and sometimes I refer to prior to my life prior to starting fitness protection program as the previous me, who
Uh-huh.
was a lot less emotionally intelligent. I mean, I'm 30 now. I should be wiser. I am older. I have lived more of a life. But prior to this, when I was, just figuring out like what is dating and what are relationships, the previous me would have been so jaded and so hurt by that and so ready to retaliate and
Right.
let her know that I'm upset and
Right.
like yeah,
I think there's something about it's called like a Saturn's
yeah,
return that before you turn 30 or like during your first years of your 30s, you go through this thing called a Saturn's return,
yeah,
if you believe that kind of stuff. But really, it does feel like you truly wake up after you turn 30. It's like, oh my God, like I understand, like, I think that being an adult is partially like accepting that you're always going to be looking for somebody that's smarter or wiser than you to learn from, and knowing that that's just part of the process.
Yeah.
Um, and I just really feel that a big part of that is just knowing like that things are much more complex than your first trigger emotion.
Yeah. And sometimes, in my 20s, it's like almost you felt like this, how they say like 30 is the new 20? Well,
Hmm.
in my 20s, you almost feel like this teenager who hasn't now has a legal ID, and like,
Right.
you're able to do the damn thing, and you think you got it going on, and you're young and you're fresh, and then you get to 30, it's like you're young and you're fresh, but you know better now.
Yeah, you
And it's
don't know
like
shit.
30, let me tell for the people who aren't there, 30 to me has been like I'd rather have, a lot of drink a lot of water all day than, take shots of Patron or,
Right.
get turned up. Yeah, I still have, yeah, I still enjoy good drink, cold drink or whatever. But
Knowing
thirty
that.
is more like I don't want to part, out after I get off where we got to go to the party, then we got to go to the after party, then, 30 is like, what I tell people all the time, hey, I want to go somewhere with weed, food, and a bed. Where
Right,
does that
that's like the
sound like? Oh,
perfect.
yeah, home.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're gonna turn up knowing that for every shot of Patron that you have, you gotta have a glass of water. I mean, that's growth,
Right.
right? Um,
Yeah. It's just like just not really being uh, into the fact, not feeling like you're socially missing out because you're not out and about.
right,
Yeah.
right. So, shall we move on to our news for the week, you think?
Yeah, we can proceed. I like that mental health check in.
Yeah, and Matt McKinley over here on Instagram says that he agrees he matured a lot in his 30s. And I
Right.
think that that's kind of the thing is, I think good to not to like backtrack, but just to add a thought, I think that we spend our 20s thinking that we're supposed to be these adults and like know how to figure shit
Yeah.
out. And we're looking around and we're like, oh God, this person over here graduated college. Oh fuck, this person's on heroin. Like, like
And
it's
before we
all
go any
over.
further, I got to give a shout out to my man Matt, who is one of the most loyal and sweetest guys, and one of my most loyal, dedicated supporters. Buddy, I
Yeah.
see you. You are one of the most positive dudes I've had the pleasure of connecting with. Matt is I say the crown prince of the protectors. So, but back to the lecture at hand. Love you, Matt. But yeah, when it's just a maturing process. It's a growth process, and I it's just about loving yourself and
Yeah.
wanting a healthy lifestyle and knowing like the old Jamie Lee Curtis commercials. Like, I got this one body in this one life. It's like take care of yourself now because it's like you can still look young and feel young, but like you bought one bad lift at the gym away from like back problems like an old man.
Funny story. So when I started doing my work as a love doctor online again this last
Dr.
February,
Foxy, bow chicka wow wow.
uh, you know, uh, I didn't realize I had gone to bed one night and I felt my left hand, was really like crampy and sore. And I was like, what the hell? And then it like went up into my arm and my elbow. And I
Yeah.
have a friend, shout out to Janessa. I don't know if she watches, but she's really cool. She's a massage therapist. She came over to smoke out and just like catch up. And I said, hey, not to talk shop with you, but I've got this pain in my hand and my arm and it hasn't gone away for several weeks. And she's like, do you with that hand? And I was like, no. But then I thought about it and I totally do. So my hand was messed up from performing on live webcam. But she stretched that fucker out. It hurt for like a few more hours
Yeah.
and then it was good.
So you were physically hurt and physically overworked like a carpal tunnel type of thing?
Yeah, and it happened really fast because I it was within my first like 12 hours on StreamMate and I was like hurting.
Shout out to stream mates. Okay.
Definitely.
All
Okay.
right.
So
Let's
news.
dive into our first topic.
Yeah. So did you see? I know that I sent it to you. I don't know if you guys watching saw that New York from Flavor of Love and just reality Hall of Famer. She's starting a rap career, and her first release was a diss track. I can't remember who it was on though.
What a classic way to get somebody's attention. And you know what? I thought New York had been a rapper. 'Cause she's been out for years. I mean, I do remember, I never really was a big Flavor of Love fan, but I do remember like seeing her stuff back in the day, and I'm familiar with her persona a little bit. And you know what? I think in that spirit of New York hip hop, it is kind of cool that she put out a diss track. At the same
Yeah.
time, like, how else is she gonna, get
It's the
somebody's
most New
attention?
York thing that she could have done, honestly.
Yeah,
So, shout out to New York. I see you. I think that she's definitely gonna be around for forever. She's icon.
right. I mean, it is petty and it is sad that you gotta like do that to get. Who did she diss, by the way?
I don't know. I knew when I sent it, but I don't remember now. There's too much information here. So I failed on that one. If anybody knows, tell us in the chat. Um, Speaking of some gossipy type news, you were telling me about Freddie Gibbs and his baby mama.
Right, right. Now this is a crazy one. So Freddie Gibbs recently had a situation with his baby mama who's in the adult entertainment industry where I guess there was a case of revenge porn on him where he evidently had knocked up this chick and she's said, "Hey, I'm having your baby." And he's like, "Well, that how do you know that's my baby?" And then she took the liberty on him, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but she took the liberty of just like sending out a picture of him with his ass cheeks spread wide open,
Yeah, they're
and
calling him Spready Gibbs.
Freddie
Uh,
Gibbs,
I
wow.
think that is so messed up. First of all, the thing that I did write down about it on my notes was revenge porn much. And I hate this double standard shit. I think that true like feminism for me as a feminist is equalism. I think that unless we're equal, there is no right. And this is a pure example of that bullshit double standard where a woman puts out revenge porn on a man and there's all this attention and everybody's laughing about it and making a big joke, and I get that he is kind of a troll on Twitter, those kind of things, but no matter what, somebody doesn't deserve to get exposed in that kind of a manner. It's pretty messed up. And if the shoe was on the other foot and it was a woman that was having revenge porn put out, the public perception would be much different.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I'm proud of you actually for acknowledging that it is a double standard.
Hmm.
I think this is a case of, and shout out to my man Freddie Gibbs. He's such a dope artist, funny guy, family guy. Not Peter Griffin, but he got kids. And it's misfortunate because it's kind of like you see, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Because this is somebody who's known for just being, a quick tongue, smart ass on Twitter, and for him to get aired out publicly on that platform is kind of a shame in my eyes. But I think the music will speak to his bounce back. I think this is somebody who Adam 22 called him, and we could talk about that asshole for a whole other episode. But Adam called him a hip hop warrior, and I think that that's a true testament to Freddie Gibbs is and how mainstream fans fuck with Gibbs, underground fans fuck with Gibbs, and I think it's in hip hop. There's a lot of mishaps, and I think that he was literally exposed, and it's kind of like kind of not cool on either party. It's just not a good look at all.
Right,
You
not at
know,
all. And then you've got the whole talk going on the side about his baby mama still performing in
yeah,
pornography while she's pregnant. And that's a whole nother can of worms. And I think that what that comes down to is it's nobody's business what a woman does with her body, period.
okay,
Um, that's my take on it. I think that that's her personal choice. I think that it's definitely not for everybody. Personally, would I do it? Probably not. But I mean, no knock on another person's hustle. Like, we all got to do what we got to do. If that's what she's doing, she's getting that bag and making sure that that baby has a good life. So
so
that's that
yeah,
on that.
it's to each his own. But like, let me ask you this, Kelsey: being in the sex industry. Sorry if I gave your, but let me
My
ask you.
government name.
It's on there. Ah!
Hey, you got a bonus if you listen to today's episode.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this: have you ever had a revenge porn situation happen to you
No,
in
because
your
I've always
personal or
lived out
professional
loud.
life?
I've always lived out loud. I know that it's on the internet and I accept that it's on the internet. I have known that since I stepped into the webcam modeling industry in 2009 when it was like a brand new concept. Um, I knew that if it's on the internet, it's on the internet. And so I don't put anything out there that I don't assume that anybody I know can have access to. So for me, I haven't personally dealt with that. I've always been a very sexually liberated
Right.
person, like
And
my whole life.
and to that point, I was having a conversation with some performers I met up with for dinner on Saturday, and I said, you know what? I barely had scratched the surface of like discovering my own sexuality. And prior to this podcast, like I was hesitant on like posting too many sex memes, like posting a lot of stuff with like cursing in it. And like, yeah, I did that. I did that a lot. I shared crude humor, but I was like kind of avoiding, the "Damn, little mama, you so fine" sex jokes, and those are just joshing around. Oh God, I hate sounds like that. But
Just
you're just
Josh
playing
and
it, just joshing you.
just
Yeah,
Josh.
yeah, just yeah. Now who sounds like a white
I know,
person from
adjust your
Spokane,
glasses,
Washington?
nerdo.
Yeah, yeah. But um, where am I going with this? I've come into my own more with this podcast than many other things I've tried in my life, So there's if I think back to the first interview I did in person with Chanel Barbie and Monique Leslie, I admire myself for that ex- uh, persona on camera because that was 100% me being naturally myself.
Awesome. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah,
I think that's why both of us are kind of just natural at being able to jump in and do something like this because we're both authentic on camera. We're just what
exactly.
you see is what you get. I'd rather you like me for me being me or than dislike me for me not being me. Or wait, I'm
Right
stoned. Leave
on.
me alone. You know what the fuck I mean. So,
We get it.
also in the news, we've got ASAP and
Yep.
Bree's baby RZA.
Yay.
I'm a big fan and member of the Wu Tang Clan. Uh, People that just would love this.
I think that's dope because ASAP Rocky's named after Rakim. Like Rakim is his real name.
Yeah, so it's definitely keeping it in like tradition. I love it. I think it's interesting that they waited till he was a year old to tell people his name.
Yeah.
Um, I did not realize that they had a year old baby. So it was news to
Well,
me.
I think, and back to the music, Kirk. Thank you so much for chiming in about that. You know what? Yeah, it's pretty awesome lit music for a reason, but we are way more layers to it. MTV didn't always say music, but look what happened to them. Okay, and with that being said, listen, ASAP Rocky and Rihanna's baby. Um, you know what? I think they did that intentionally just to not celebrityize, if that's a word, the child, and just
Hmm.
let them have just the baby before people, they have paparazzi running up in
Right.
pics, and trying to get pictures and identify who is their baby, because there are some people who are like instantly born. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Saint Abe. Sex and music go together. But there's some people who are just instantly born into, celebrityhood. They're instantly in the public eye. And at least Rocky and Rihanna tried to keep their kid for a year out of that. And you know what? The baby's only like one. So we'll see. And then they got the second one on the way. So, anything is possible. All I know is that their kids are going to be the flyest, most fashion forward person on the planet.
Seriously, they're both like majorly gorgeous,
Yeah.
intellectual, stylish. Like, love them
Yeah.
both.
Drip ain't the word. They're on a whole nother
A
level.
whole new level. So hip hop history in this past week, I have found that when I pull up the stories on Mondays, it's going to be in the past week for hip hop. So just to throw that out there, I noticed that when I was writing down dates, I was like, I don't have anything for the upcoming week. So I've got, first of all, we've got Pusha T's birthday is May 13th, 1977. So happy birthday to him. DMX released It's Dark and Hell is Hot on May 12th, 1998. That's like a huge uh, staple album for like everybody I know. I don't think there's one person that I personally know that doesn't know a song off of that album.
Right.
Uh,
With Pusha T, I want to go back and just recognize the album he dropped last year, and I'm having trouble recalling the name of it. I enjoyed that album, but I never got around to reviewing it. because let me tell you something. I enjoy a few songs from clips, but I never really dove in on Pusha T. And it's like part of my coming of age years were in the 757. I graduated from Hampton University. It's right across
Mhm.
from Norfolk, where Pusha T is from. So part of my story of how I came to be a content creator has to do with that. Was born, literally born in that area, and sometimes I wonder why am I not more into Pusha T or specific or that whole Tidewater area scene. And I am, and I know who's who, but like I guess it's just the backpack nerd in me who just like I just couldn't deal with cocaine rap when
Yeah.
this is hello.
You're an indie kid.
Yeah, I'm an indie kid, but
Yeah.
over time I grew to appreciate the cocaine rap, and this is a great segment to get into my brother All Hail YT's new album,
Yes.
Ill-Gotten Gains, man. I had a dabble in the record. I listened to it, and I like what I'm hearing. Dude is very talented, and ever since I first discovered his sound, I kind of feel like he is almost like the second coming of Nas, just with the vocal cadence, and just the sophistication of the production is just like he's just like '90s, but like a refreshed take on it.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed Ill-Gotten Gains. It was a good album. I didn't listen to it from front to back, but I kind of popped around and let it shuffle on Spotify for a while. And I was very impressed. I thought that he was a lot different than anything that I had been hearing. As you guys that have been watching know, I'm just kind of full sail heading back into learning new music and stuff. I had gotten clean and sober for about 4 years. I've almost been clean and sober for, and I found that music for me almost put me in to that spot. And so I'm finally at a spot where I'm like, oh, I love consuming music again. This is really like helped awaken that. So for me, I was really excited to hear this album, and to find out from you that he is not super big with like big like production and stuff, as far as I'm understanding so far. It feels so like wow, multiple layers to every track that I listened to. I wrote down that I really loved the fact that it was like that conscious hip hop feel, with a big like diversity in the music. There were like
Right.
horns and piano
Yeah.
in the bear market. I really liked this album.
You're right. Yeah, yeah. The project definitely did have, a higher quality of production and just like a higher quality of lyricism. So big bravo to All Hail YT.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely some good stuff.
yeah, we were messaging over last weekend, and hey, next time he touches down in LA, we're definitely gonna do something.
Yeah, he's extremely talented. I would not be surprised if
Yeah.
he's pretty well known in the next couple of years for sure.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. He's had collaborations with like Jay Worthy, who we're about to talk about soon too, and with like Bun B. So yeah, he's
Yeah,
doing a thing.
pretty amazing. So that our album of the week is his album "Ill-Gotten Gains."
Right.
We'll be adding it to our playlist.
And
Definitely check
then
it out.
another release I just wanted to briefly talk about, and we talked about them last week because they're one of my favorite groups. Suicide Boys put out another EP,
Yeah,
the Yin Yang Tapes Summer Season,
89, 90.
89, 90. Yep.
My years.
Was the same sets of years from the last tape, the spring season they dropped last week. But that
I
five
thought
in the
it was.
morning song was fire. Yeah,
I thought it was 87, 88. The last ones.
I think it was 89, 90
Uh,
again. Could be
but
wrong.
yeah,
Yeah,
always really
you're
good.
picking up in front of
I'm
us.
really glad that you put me on to their new stuff that they're putting out because it's really fucking good. Like I'm enjoying everything. I mean, obviously, I love your music taste, so you can't lead me probably wrong in most ways when it comes to that. But I've really been enjoying them.
Thank you. That means a lot. See, that's why I do this. So,
Yeah,
I'll in off record, I'll definitely give you gotta go back and listen to like all the old Suicide Boys tapes from like their collab with Puya,
so
Southside
I like
Suicide,
Puya a
and
lot.
Grey Day.
I have actually been listening to a lot of the Suicide Boys over the past week, and I've been
Right.
making everybody around me listen to.
And you gotta get into Ramirez because he's on their label G59 as well, and he's one of the first artists I interviewed as Palm.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. You'll have to link me. But yeah, what I also wanted to add to the song "Ill-Gotten Gains" off of the
All
self-titled
hell
album.
YT.
Yeah, he very much, gave me, like, the Game vibes. We were kinda talking about it. I really, really enjoyed, his delivery on that one, and it reminded me of the Game's Old English. I love that song, and
Right.
it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it
from
was
the
so good.
documentary, Doctor's Advocate album, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've been
really
listening
good one.
Old English. Yep, I've been listening to that a
Drive
long time.
by. Yeah,
My
so
here
good.
are letters on my hat in Old
Old
English.
English. Woo, woo, woo,
Yep.
woo. Okay. So my music this week that I was having Dylan check out is Sub Pop's newest album that just dropped a couple days ago, Evolve. Um, they had about 7 months ago released a track called Ready to Fly, which it's pretty big. A lot of people know of it. Definitely like reignites that love for drum and bass on this album. Um, uh it had like that good old 2010 through like 2013, 14 feel of like that UKF dubstep. Felt very
Right.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
uh
I think about, when I was in high school and like people were going to raves like Fresh Days and all of that. And I think of like, those songs where you were just drinking Four Locos and just riding out to house parties and all over, Southern California.
oh, definitely.
That's definitely one of those songs, that was kind of in that everyday I'm shuffling era. So
Yeah, it
that was
definitely
fun.
took me back. It was very nostalgic to listen to.
Hey, Daisy
And
Cakes.
it just, that classic drum and bass, with the melody, can't go wrong with it. So it was really good. So I enjoyed that. My song of the week is going to be from upcoming album called Age of Pleasure, by Janelle Monáe. That's coming out on June 9th. The new one that just dropped is called Lipstick Lover. It's a not safe for work music video, but I definitely recommend that everybody check it out. It's really good.
I'm
She's got
already
that.
intrigued.
Oh, you'll love it. So there's like scenes in the video. She's like topless and like she's like posing like with like a cigar and stuff, and she's singing to a woman's
Yeah.
bare ass, and she's being
She's kind of on
showered
her
with.
sexy jazz lounge singer
Oh
type
yeah,
of
well,
thing.
it's definitely like that sexy R&B infused with like that reggae style kind of. It's just really good. She's great. I think they are they them
Yeah,
now.
I believe so.
Sorry
They
to
them now.
misgender. But yeah, so definitely check that one out. It has like that summertime crush kind of feeling, like, ooh, I'm thinking about this person that I had this, ooh with, and I can't stop. It's totally like a kitchen makeout while you're cooking pasta
Mm,
jam.
okay. A little Amy Winehouse vibe, sort of, kind
Def.
of ish. Okay. I like it. I like it. I'm definitely going to check out the Janelle Monáe album. I haven't listened to a full length project of hers before, but I have been to one of her concerts, and she brought out Stevie Wonder, so that was amazing.
That's big deal. And then you had your song of the week.
My song of the week was Jay Worthy and Rock Marciano, "Wake Up." The video was dope. You know what? I had Jay Worthy is one of my favorite MCs. He has been one of my favorites for the last few years. Oh, what's up, Darian? One of my good friends from Hampton University just joined the live. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you know what? Jay Worthy and Rock video was fire, and the things that I like about it was, first of all, is like Jay Worthy being from the West, Vancouver, Canada, and Bompton, and then Rock Marciano being from Long Island. I love that East to West connect that they got, and that sample is really playful. It's like "Wake up!" It's like a little kid talking. Um, it's old 70s cut. I haven't had the chance to look up what the original sample was, but Jay Worthy is just really a rapper's rapper, and he's just such an MC because in the true spirit of hip hop, all of his full length projects are these collaborations where he's either getting with a one producer to make all the beats on the project, or he's getting with like another rapper, and then also maybe another producer then to make all the beats for him and the rapper.
Yeah.
So Rock Marciano dropped an album last year with The Alchemist called "The Elephant Man's Bones," and I think if you're really into gritty East Coast hip hop, you'll really enjoy that one. But it's like
Mhm.
not too gritty though. It's like it's very Alchemist is a super producer, so he
Yeah.
really tailors the beats to the artist's style. and I think that came out really well, and it made me a Rock Marciano fan. I went to go see Rock and the Alchemist after that, and of course they brought out Jay Worthy, and then last year when Jay Worthy did his Two Peas in the Pod album with Larry June, which was my personal favorite of 2022,
Mhm.
that they had a song on there called Maybe Next Time with Rock Marciano. So it's really dope to see Rock and Jay Worthy continue to work together, and then kind of like from where I sit, I see Jay Worthy kind of bringing Rock along as one of his guys. And if you're really familiar with Jay Worthy's work, he's done dope tapes with Larry June and tapes with like G Perico and who else? Like TF, who's another really cool South Central LA artist. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all about collaboration albums. Hopefully this one's a good one. Of course, it's gonna be a good one. Let's be worthy. But yeah, yeah, super. And if you
Awesome.
don't know about Rock Marciano, he started out in part of Flip Mode Squad back in the day, which is Busta Rhymes' crew.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be adding all of these songs to the playlist. I think that we'll have one up on Spotify, and
Yeah,
then we'll have the one on YouTube also.
and forgive me for
Um,
my hip hop nerd rants. If I
I
jump
think
off the
that's why
deep end.
they're here. That's why a lot of people are here. They like
Comment a
that.
fishing emoji if I need to reel it in, guys.
And yeah, and as always, we're brand new starting this together, this project. Any type of input we love. So feel free to let us
Feedback,
know.
feedback, feedback. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and
love
I've
that.
definitely been trying to take the feedback that I've gotten and putting it into my process for the next week. And I think we're just going to keep getting better.
Well,
So,
okay.
next up, we're going to talk about our weekly topic of sex work tips. That's where I come in. And if you guys don't know, I'm sure that you might put it together, but my name is Foxy Fox. I am an online adult entertainer, or like I like to say, a love doctor. I have experience prior in the industry, but I jumped back in February. I'm learning the game post pandemic, which is completely different, guys. I mean, let's be real. A lot of people that were in the game before the pandemic, we've noticed just with even OnlyFans coming on, and just everything's different. And so I'm humbly learning from other people and taking what I learned and letting you guys know. So my tip of the week is going to, first of all, I wanted to touch on Twitter about the toy sellers that will be in your DMs if you're an adult actress. I used to be a bartender, so it's funny that you say that. I used to be a bartender. That's
Yeah,
what I
you
did.
totally have the personality for it.
Oh yeah, well, I was also, I left and came back into this industry from being a corporate suited property manager for a very prestigious luxury
Right, right.
apartment
So
company.
I've been told.
Anyway, but there are toy sellers from China that will jump into your DMs when you're on Twitter. If you've been following along, Twitter is a huge superpower for adult workers. It is also a huge, place that you don't want to go to if you're at work. And so the big thing about Twitter is if you're actively growing your Twitter, there are going to be toy sellers that are going to be in your DMs. And I want to be the first to tell you that these are completely legitimate offers that they're giving you. They're really a huge ally to sex workers. A lot of women, they want to jump in, they want to get started doing this. They lack the things to be successful. And a lot of us have to work our way up from having nothing and building our supplies for what we're doing. But these people are just asking for you to pick from what they have. They're going to offer you a lot of diversity with it. It costs nothing. If you have an Amazon account, they send you the money. You buy the toy, you review it for them, and it's yours. And it works. I get toys every single day. So just put you
It's
guys
like
on that.
bad bitch Christmas.
It
Grandpa,
really is
I,
bad bitch Christmas. Well, the funny thing is, I worked at the office down here, and they're probably wondering, like, why has she got so many packages? I'm glad. Another thing, discreet
Cakes is in the
shipping,
house.
guys.
She got down with the thickness recently. Nikki Cakes is in Miami
Hi,
right now for X
Nikki.
Biz, and new episode with her coming soon. Okay,
Amazing. Can't wait to
all
see
right.
it.
And our
So, and
last
then
chunk for the evening.
Well, I had one more thing to touch on our
Okay.
sex work tips. Also, I think that something that we need to touch on that's a reality for content creators as a whole, especially sex workers, is not basing your performance upon other people's. A lot of in the industry, we tend to compare ourselves and like, oh, this girl, she's doing this and this, and what am I doing wrong? Things like that. Take your own path, baby. Be kind to yourself. This is a hard job, the hardest job that I think that most people could not do. And this is something that if you keep that momentum, it will pay off. The biggest part about it, the biggest challenge is just staying consistent. I am also very guilty of seeing other people and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm missing out. I'm really not doing enough, things like that.
Right.
Nah, my path is happening how it's supposed to happen. And we have good days and we have bad days, but every day is just a day in itself. No more living in the future, the past. Take it
And
in
I
each
can't.
day.
Right. It reminds me of that Thundercat song. No more living in fear. I can't sing. So now, there was one topic, in the spirit of mental health, in the spirit of sex worker tips that I wanted to touch on. I posted a video last week about being a civilian amongst sex workers. That means being a content creator who predominantly works with sex workers, who's creating around sex workers as a podcaster. And now I also added vlogging. Vlogging is, I've studied No Jumper for many years, so I consider that a part of the podcasting as well. But the joke I now tell myself is like everybody who's uh, their content is having sex with one another. My content is having a great conversation with them and maybe hanging out afterwards, going to get something to eat.
Mhm.
So, um, but here's the thing, when you look up and damn, everybody's who you're interviewing and now friends with all of a sudden is fucking and smiling and having sex and traveling to all these different places. It gets to you. And, I might be sitting there at a not so fun, kind of gloomy day job, still with the freedom of doing what I want to do, but still, sitting in four walls looking at a phone, being like, damn, they're getting it in. And I'm like, here. And, that was rough. And, one of the beautiful things of the video that I made was that I thought about, I mentioned all of these people who I could have privately went to. And that video got some good attention. The view count does not reflect that, but that video got, in circulation with whom it needed to be seen by. Um, and I was pleased to kind of find out that I was nowhere near alone in that feeling
Mhm.
where so the term and this is the I am an outsider to all of this. I have been graciously knighted here and graciously allowed to set up shop here and create this safe space called thickness protection program. But prior 2 years ago, I'd never really heard the term sex worker. I didn't know that was called. Like, porn stars are hot. Off to them every night. But yeah, yeah, I didn't know that I thought everybody who did porn was a porn star. And then here comes this word content creator, and I'm thinking content creators like a Trevor Wallace or like a Etika, God rest his soul. Somebody who's making videos, but I didn't even consider pornographic videos to be like what you would call a content creator. Well, here's the
There.
thing: is like every now here's the thing that we all have in common. I told Julie Ginger this. Shout out to her. I met her over the weekend. Um, we're both content creators, and then to which in that interview in January 22, she says, "Nah, baby, I'm a porn star." And here's where the gray line comes in, is because like, or the star comes in when you've been nominated for awards or
Mhm.
received awards, or you've uh, been participated in events where you have a certain celebrity for what you do in the adult entertainment business. A content creator, it's a wide ball game because similar to the music thing, hey, anybody is allowed to is able to participate if they take the necessary steps. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
there is, that's the whole entire thing. You just nailed it. Is content creation. It's it's way different than being a porn
Right.
star. A porn star is like almost like a household name. I don't expect
Yes.
anybody's going to know who the fuck Foxy Box is. I'm a content creator. I'm, held in a high regard with the people that consume me, but I'm not famous. Um,
Right.
and it's different because also a lot of content creators, we're doing our own thing. I'm a solo performer. I'm not collaborating, and I get that FOMO because I've got on Twitter, people that have some pretty awesome, AVN nominations, or, even a Hall of Famer type person
Yeah.
has asked me for collab. And I'm like, no, it sucks. But I mean, that's not my path right now. And so I have that FOMO because I watch, people just doing their damn thing. And I'm like, fuck, I'm really missing out.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in the way of that. But I'm content creating, I'm making my own films. I am making art, and I'm doing it how I want. I'm being perceived how I want. I'm shooting it. I'm doing it in a way that makes me feel
Right.
pretty. And I have control over it. And so that's a big difference is, a lot of times it's really hard when you're a content creator because you don't have a crew helping you and you're doing it all yourself. So it's both porn star, content creator, fucking badass sex workers.
Right.
So it's all that. And, sex work is real work. It's the hardest work I've ever done. And I know
Yeah.
it's just going to keep getting harder, but no pun intended.
Ah. Nothing beats a good old
But
dick joke.
hey, if I'm
Get it
doing my
beats a dick.
job right, it's gonna get hard. But
Hey now,
yeah,
say now.
I really do like what I do at the end of the day, and I love having creative control. And hey, if it
Right.
ever eclipses into working with other people that produce for me, that's great. I just have respect for everybody, and I especially have respect for people like you who are bringing respect, to what we do. And
Yeah.
you use proper terms. You're calling us sex workers. You're telling your viewers like, hey, this is how you properly address somebody, because I mean, there's terms for everything, and there's a lot of respect into what we do. If you consume porn and you aren't pro sex work, you're a hypocrite.
Right, right. And this has all been a learning process. I am in class every time you guys watch a thickness protection program episode. Every time I go live with another creator, yeah, I might be chilling in my bed or just like playing a video game, but I am in class. I am a student. I am a student here. Now, here's the where we say I'm not a student at porn high school. Is my line to not get caught up in this drama that happens in this industry because there's a whole heck of a lot of it. But I, my the joy of this to me is to learn and to be accepted by a community. And you know what, Foxy? I was telling Natalie Kinky over the weekend when we were hanging out, I said, you know what? When I started TPP, it's not like I was even looking for acceptance on purpose. I have friends. I had built a small community with Palm, and thank you, Kirk. I appreciate you, dog. But built a community called the Palm Tree, and that was cool. And I'm focused on expanding that. I still am.
Mhm.
And I started this job as a page shortly after Thickness Protection Program launched, and I've been accepted by another community, and it kind of just made me sit back and kind of realize, not to toot my own horn, but I'm the type of guy who does that. I will get in a job, and by the second day, I'm learning like everybody in my department or everybody in the floor or everybody in the company's name. Like
Yeah.
just shaking hands, introducing myself to people, remembering people, because
Well,
I'm just the type of cat that has a fascination with people.
I'm so the same person. And Dylan, I think we need to go take that 16 personalities thing and
Oh
see if
God.
we have the same, because I think we probably do. And I
Do you
love
know how
how
many women I've dated who have put me through that?
then you should know
The
yours. I'm the
exact same thing.
campaigner. I'm the campaigner. What are you?
Oh yeah.
Do
I
you
got
remember?
campaigner before, but I don't even remember. I have
I
gotten
bet you were the
campaigner before.
same. I think it's like
Just stop.
ENFJ.
Yeah.
ENFJ. But anyways,
The Myers Briggs test.
I really, really love that that is exactly what brought us together, though,
Yeah.
is the
Hi
fact
Kiki
that,
Squash. I like your name and I like your profile
oh,
picture.
yeah, Kiki Splosh, she's a new up and comer on the Wham scene. Wet and messy, holla holla. Yeah, if you guys don't know, your friend
Yeah.
Foxy Box, I like to dabble in
I'm a
fetishes,
I'm a sucker for a nice cleavage and lip shot, and that's all she got right there.
Oh,
So
Kiki
I know
Splosh,
there's a
she
lot more
gets
going
down
on.
with it. She gets down,
Yeah.
she could get down with the thickness. She
Yeah.
could.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure. I'd like to learn more
Kiki,
about her.
Kiki, DM me.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Just get the point.
yeah,
DM me.
yeah, DM Dylan. He's the
She just
thickness
walks in. She's just like
protector.
super popular. Okay. Are we ready to move on to our last chunk?
Yeah, so you guys starting next week, once a month. I think we should do it the will next week be the last week of the month?
No, we still got. Okay, so this is the week ending in the ninth and the 20th, and then we got the week that ends in the
So
27th.
yeah, it'll be the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week of the month. Wow, I can't believe how fast this month has gone by. So the last week of every month, we're going to be doing a small artist spotlight. And next week, we're going to be talking about a local artist from where I'm at in Eastern Washington. He goes by Pest the Menace. He's really fucking amazing. He definitely deserves a lot more recognition. And I can't wait to show you guys. And if you guys have any nominations for small artists to put the spotlight on and educate us about and help us to share with other people, please message myself or Dylan.
yeah.
We would love to do it. So I'm really excited. I'm a very big fan of pest work. I have been since we were teenagers. So this is exciting
Awesome.
for me.
Got to put on for the homie. All
Exactly.
right. To close our night out, Foxy, I wanted to kind of talk about something that I'm recognizing that a growing number of peers of ours are facing. We're dealing with a recession right now. Last week we spoke about I called it SAG, but it's not that. It's the WGA, Writers Guild of America strike,
Mhm.
and that's affecting my industry currently, which is film and TV. And then we're hearing, like, I don't want to say rumors, but there's a water cooler buzz kind of going around that they're getting ready to have this actor strike. And then I'm hearing from people in your profession in the sex industry that there's a recession as well. So clients are not paying for services or trying to bargain or
Yes.
lowball for
Yeah,
services.
I really want to talk
Yeah,
about that right there. That lowballing shit is
yeah,
not cool. A lot of people during this recession have been increasingly aggressive and disrespectful towards sex workers, especially in live chats like webcam and things like
right.
that. Guys, we get it. You're frustrated. Your dick's hard. You want to spit it out. That's cool. But you need to respect the people that are providing you a service because it's just as hard right now, if not harder for us. People don't have the money to spend on things like sexy ladies, unfortunately.
Right.
So if you're aware of that, that's half the thing. Just be kind. If you can't afford, to consume, don't waste people's time and just be supportive of their social
Yeah.
medias.
Fellas, treat her well. You know, treat the
Niceness
sex
gets
work,
you everywhere.
yeah, kindness goes a long way.
For sure. And the recession, just hang tight, guys. Worker
I didn't even ask you,
solidarity.
did you have a good Mother's Day?
Mother's Day is just another day for me
It's
and
a,
everybody.
it's an everyday job.
But the big thing though to take from the recession stuff is that we got to have that worker solidarity. We got to fucking cling to each other, you guys, because we're being taken for a really wild ride
Right. And
as a
speaking of
working class.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have any more? I didn't mean to step on you.
Jeez, Dylan, chill out.
An eater.
Really, no. My point is that worker solidarity. We are the working class. We are what drives this whole entire country. You want a question for both? Oh, last of a dream. Well. Listen, I have ADHD. You can't
This
do
is
that to
way
me.
too. Mine is way too complicated to explain on this live. I tell you what, Kirk, DM me on Instagram right now, and I will do a video. I'll make you as the ladies who appear on TPP would say. I'll make you a custom. I will just do a video. I ain't charging you for free, dog. I'll just
Free
spit it like I
custom.
spit it. Yeah,
And if you if
I
you DM me, I'll tell you mine too. But I'm
yeah
not I'm not making a big old performance like Dylan.
yeah. We're Diva Dylan, yeah.
Diva Dill.
Diva Dill, yeah. But yeah,
So
we'll get through this recession. And rather than being nervous about it, I want to just go into it like we went into the pandemic. I want to get creative about it. So
Yeah,
if
Kiki Splosh says the service is a luxury. Luxury is always the first to be affected. And it's very true. And hey, you know what? You guys, there's lots of free stuff out on the internet. Don't waste our time. Don't get our hopes up because, like, we're paying our bills with this. A lot of us are 100% sex work
yeah,
as our jobs. And especially solo performers that are doing their own thing, like myself, Kiki Splash, a lot of these girls out here, we're putting in a lot of work and it's a lot of emotional labor too. So just be kind to us. You can look, but if you can't touch, don't try to touch.
fair enough, fair enough. Well, Beat Baux, another successful Monday night. This was our third one. I'm so proud of us for being 3 consecutive weeks in, and I can't commit to shit. So
Yeah, same. So you guys, we really are enjoying what we're doing. So please follow Dylan, Palm Media over on YouTube. Follow me,
Palm
follow
official,
Thickness
Palm official.
Protection Program. Palm Official, thank you. And of course, our episodes always get uploaded afterwards onto YouTube, and we're going to work on putting them in podcast form. That's kind of a goal that I have. I want to cut the audio and put it on,
Yeah,
I podcast shit. I don't know. I'm such a boomer when it comes to
topics
technology.
you wanna bring to our table. This is not just our show, but it is a community thing. This is the palm tree and the protectors. So we really
Hmm.
want to hear from you guys about what you want us to talk about on Monday nights.
Yep. We are all just palm fronds upon the palm tree.
Oh, stop. I got you. All right,
So,
everybody. Thank you for tuning into Beatbox.
thanks, guys. And
We
hey, don't
want
forget,
thickness.
support your sex workers, support your content creator, and show us love.
Right now.
Bye.